Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it and purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. Today we are discussing a bit of a cult watch. Released in 2008 and discontinued by 2014, the Tudor Iconaut feels like a three-way splice between a Rolex Daytona, an Explorer 2 in 42mm size, and perhaps a deep-sea sea dweller. And the watch does have impressive specifications: screw-down crown, deep diving depth, chronograph functions, a date, and a second time zone. All of this with Tudor build integrity and one of the most exotic and unusual styling concepts Tudor has ever advanced. So the watch is large, no two ways about that. 43mm in diameter. It's not particularly thick. At 14.6, it surprised me. I expected 16, 17. 14.6 with a sloped bezel means this one actually does fit underneath a lot of shirt cuffs. I did not see that coming. It's fairly constrained across the wrist. A 43.5 should be broader than 51.7 lug-to-lug, but that's the span of this watch, and it's the reason I rate this watch for wrists as small as 14.5 centimeters circumference. It's going to dwarf your arm, but it will fit securely. The spacing between the lugs is 22mm, which is broader than I expected. Proportionally, it looks like less, but this does have a wide planted stance on the wrist. It measures at 22, and Tudor had the foresight in the late 2000s to go with a broad lug spacing. If you decide to go with the strap, this watch would look great on a NATO, especially a gray and red NATO, but the bracelet itself is surprisingly delicate and supple. For an aggressive sports reference, the links themselves are rather narrow end to end, making it feel almost like a sports version of the Rolex President. It has that look, it has that feel. It is very comfortable, and there are big recessed channels on the back to avoid pinching skin, pulling hair, or trapping wrist heat. The clasp features multiple anchoring points internally, so you can fine-tune the fit, even as there are screw-fixed removable links. Then you can see it's a single fold, Tudor stamped, with a clamshell lock to keep it secure on the wrist, and you can see the Tudor shield as well as the twin embossed character lines still quite distinct, this one not having been refinished. You'll also appreciate the fact that the case band is surprisingly elegant. It's a little bit rounded at its end, which is a softer terminus than I expected on such an aggressive model, but it does have a wonderful cushion-like profile. It's not a round watch so much as a modern sports cushion watch. We haven't really seen the likes of this shape in a watch this big with this sporting intent on a regular basis since the 70s. You can see it has a bit of a monster scale Explorer 2 bezel, 24 hours. They are recessed and black lacquered, and the dial is one of the most elaborate I've ever seen on any Tudor reference, past or present. You can see it's a bewildering array of calibrations, shapes, colors, tones, and textures. Starting with the hands, we may as well work our way from the top to the bottom. It is a chronograph, and you can see chronograph hours at the base of the dial, chronograph minutes at 12, constant seconds at 9, and then chronograph seconds at center. There is a second time zone that keeps time in a 24-hour format, and then there's a date. And because this watch does use the Valjoux 7754 as a base, that is a very good thing, because it's one of the rare twin time zone watches with a 24-12-hour format distinction that also gives you a quick set for both the second time zone as well as the date. I'm going to screw this crown out, and forgive me, but I'm going to put it in quick set mode and demonstrate exactly what I'm speaking of. The watch has two quick set modes. One is for the date and one is for the time zone. That's for the date and that's for the time zone. Most dual time watches that have a 1224 format will actually remove the quick set and use it as a rapid step for the local hour hand. Think Rolex GMT, or for that matter, Rolex Explorer 2. Here you get a genuine quick set for both functions. There's also stop seconds or hacking. The dial is loomed, and you'll note that all of the indices are actually applique red blocks, another unconventional design decision, along with an applique red Tudor shield. Underneath the case back, 25 joules automatic winding, 46-hour power reserve, 28.8 beat rate, quick set times 2 for the second time zone as well as the date, 1224 hour formats for the independent second time zone and the primary, and then 150-meter water resistance for the case. This is a remarkably durable and reliable movement, and remarkably tough, and one might even say slightly avant-garde styling effort by Tudor. The Iconaut was controversial, it is controversial, and it's best described as a cult watch. If you're the type who's into vintage Saab, Moto Guzzi, and Vanishing Point, this just might be the watch for you. See it and make it happen on the Watchbox. And we're back with the Tudor Iconaut reference 20400. You can see the 24-hour hand is loomed as our central hours and minutes. And rewind to the daylight portion of this thing, but how weird is it to see a watch with a 24-hour bezel and a dial side tachymeter? See it and gawk on the watch box.